Hello and welcome to another episode of Alliance Redwoods Outdoor Education's Camp at Home series. Here at Alliance I go by Rafiki and this is Mando. You may have noticed that while you're out and about that there's a lot of types of plants out there, like a lot. And how in the world do scientists keep track of them all?
And if you take a close look, you'll notice that every single leaf has its own distinct flair that sets it apart.
Yeah, that's right, and those kind of characteristics that we're going to be looking at really do open up a whole world of discovery for the diversity that we can find in the forest.
So Rafiki and I are going to head into the forest to collect some field samples and see what we can see.
Yeah, we'll collect them and practice making good observations with them so that we can see what we can learn about the diversity of this forest. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out a video that Goose put out talking all about poison oak, and it's got some pretty good leaf exploration tips in there too. I'm just going to pan you over the leaves that we found. Look at all of that color, and diversity, and shape, and structure. Hopefully you found some equally cool stuff out and about while you were exploring. Alright, so these are the leaves that we're going to look closer at in the next couple minutes. So today we're going to be looking at the traits of our leaves to see what they can tell us about the diversity of this forest.
And today, right now, we're going to start with the characteristic of shape.
Yes, it's a great place to start.
Go ahead and click the link in our description, and that will take you to our Camp at Home workbook where you can find our leaf characteristic page. The first leaf shape that we'll be looking at is an elliptical. Elliptical comes from the word ellipse, and an ellipse is basically a circle that's kind of squished, as if somebody kind of sat on it. This right here is definitely elliptical leaf. You see how it's kind of almost a circle, but kind of squished?
Yeah, let me get a closer look at that for you. There it is. Awesome. So we have elliptical, we have less elliptical, and then we have linear at this point. It's still got a curved edge to it, but it is much longer, like a line, so we call it linear.
This has a bunch of really long linear ones, but they're kind of hard and all clustered together. We call this shape a needle shape.
That makes sense. It's long and pointy, kind of like a needle. All right, we've taken a few minutes to reorganize them, and we're going to start out by looking at these ones here that are pretty obviously smooth in their edges right there. So you can see it's got no real rough patches.
And then if we go over to these, I noticed that these kind of have a sharp edge to it. It kind of reminds me of a steak knife. These right here we call serrated edges.
The last kind of edge that we describe when we're categorizing our leaves is what we call a lobed structure.
Like an earlobe?
Yeah, kind of like an earlobe. Kind of like sticks out from the rest of the leaf. But you may have noticed that this structure right here, that structure is actually a part of a larger network called the veins, and you can see them even better over here on our maple leaves.
And when we're looking at this one, it has its own vein structure that we call palmate, because it kind of looks like a hand. And my hand starts here, but then it spreads out and goes to my fingers. And so if you zoom in here, you'll see that the veins all start from one spot right there, and they spread out all the way to the little bits and the tiny corners of the leaf, but they all break out just like hands.
And so like that fern that we were looking at earlier, these leaves have a different type of vein structure. It's got one main vein that kind of acts like a continuation of the stem, and then it branches out from along that common spine. And we call this type of vein structure a pinnate vein. Pinnate. Then there is one last type of vein structure that we don't have many examples of in this forest, but we'd be happy to give you a little doodle to show you what we're talking about.
And so this is our leaf. It's kind of an elliptical shape, and our vein starts here. But unlike these right here or a palmate, it doesn't just branch out from here. Instead, there's tons and tons and tons that just run parallel to each other. Because in fact, this vein structure is called parallel. Now, we found a whole lot of wonderful leaves in this beautiful redwood forest, but it is important to leave these leaves here. But we can take both our memories and the skills and the characteristics we learn. We can even make a nature journal about these leaves.
So perhaps in a later video, we can use these leaf characteristics to help us identify the different types of leaves that we have here in our forest, and hopefully you can use those same tools to also identify some of the plants that are around your neighborhood and around your home. We hope that you enjoyed walking in the woods with Rafiki and the Mandalorian. If you'd like to share your discoveries with us, make sure you stop by our Facebook and Instagram, and we'd love to see what you guys discovered.
And if you haven't had a chance yet, go ahead and click on our profile to look at the other videos in our stay-at-home series.
Yeah, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe for future videos like these, and we will see you down the trail.